Good evening and welcome to 60 Minutes. I'm Ross Coulthart in Barcelona, a beautiful city now forever tainted by the curse of terrorism. It's 3 days now since the ghastly attack and life here is returning to a kind of normal. But for all Australians, surely the most heartbreaking image from this evil act is the sweet face of 7-year-old Sydney boy Julian Cadman. For his sake, and that of the other dead and injured, including his mum, we must find ways to prevent crowds of innocent people from being so easily targeted.
The screams that we were hearing were just a massive group of screams, and then the horror of it kind of struck us because Craig's seen this before and he's gone, that's a car into people again.
And then as the vehicle got closer, you could hear distinct, loud thuds, and sort of became apparent that what that was that a vehicle actually hitting pedestrians.
Graham O'Sullivan and his wife Kim came to Spain for a holiday. They were relaxing by their hotel's rooftop pool when they heard the carnage below them in Barcelona's popular Las Ramblas Boulevard. You looked over the side from the top of the hotel here.
Yep.
What do you see?
The one that gets to me the most is the children. There's a couple of really young kids that have been killed, and when they're on the ground and bodies are mangled and motionless, and to hear the screams of particularly the mothers, hearing a mother scream when they've just witnessed their child be killed like that, it's just something you never forget. It's terrible.
Just 6 months ago, as a Melbourne fire commander, Graham witnessed the horror in the Berkery Street Mall when a driver hit and killed 6 pedestrians. On Thursday, as soon as he heard the sickening thuds and the screams in the street below, Graham knew this was yet another attack using a vehicle.
I just sort of had a sense straight away that that's what it was, that there were so many similarities to Melbourne.
From where I was, I could see a big black bumper bar on the ground, and right near it was a man face down on the ground and not moving. And then there was a woman who had this blood-curdling wail that was just rising above the rest of it. Mm.
Horrible memory.
Yeah, sorry.
Siesta had just ended, and the tree-lined mall of Las Ramblas was jammed with tourists and locals. At the boulevard's northern end, the van mounted the pavement and headed straight into the crowds, zigzagging at speeds up to 80 kilometres an hour. For 500 metres, it ploughed through one of Barcelona's busiest thoroughfares, leaving a trail of broken bodies in its wake. The dead and injured were from 34 countries, including Australia. Sadly, 7-year-old Sydney boy Julian Cadman is one of the victims. His distraught father, Andrew, flew into Barcelona yesterday to the bedside of his wife Yom, who remains in a serious condition in hospital.
I did hear a voice of a man screaming to the police to come over and help a girl that was eventually died.
Melbourne couple Gil and Kerry van der Ven were standing here in the street just minutes before the attack began.
I went upstairs to the terrace bar. As soon as I got to the top, heard the mayhem.
What did you see?
The aftermath, immediate aftermath of the shocking events that occurred. The think 5 bodies, and a lot of police running around, obviously.
8 hours after the attack, 5 of the terrorists drove a car into pedestrians in the seaside resort of Cambrils. All were shot dead by police, 4 of them by one brave police woman. The bitter irony of terror attacks like this is that they incite exactly the opposite response that the extremists hope to achieve. Ordinary people are turning out here in their droves to turn their backs on the cowards who killed so many innocents in this street. They've come here to say, we are not afraid. 3 days on, Las Ramblas is back to its bustling self. Forever scarred, but resilient.
I personally feel safe, and if you have a look at the streets, they're swarming with people.
Do you spend part of your time walking around here as backpackers, looking over your shoulder, wondering if there's going to be another attack?
To a point, but we're not letting that stop anything that we're doing, and
We can't be living in fear, and I think that's what the terrorists want.
But the question remains, how to defeat the twisted ideology that motivates these cowardly extremists?
They disgust me, but I'm not going to let them rule the way I live my life.
We need people to be vigilant when they're in those areas. It's sad, but it's a reality these days that you just need to, whilst you're enjoying the atmosphere, you still need to remain conscious of the vehicles and things around you and be able to take action to get out of the way if you can.